Assalamu alaikum students, hope you all are fine. I am fine too, Alhamdulillah. Mathematics 4024, Congruence and Similarity. We are doing this from D3, your mathematics book. It is chapter number 11 of D3. If you want to cover the basics of congruence and similarity, you can also do it with D2. There is a chapter in book D2 as well, which covers the basics of congruence and similarity. And as far as the basics are concerned, we discussed that in our previous video that congruence means exactly same and similarity means the shape is same but the size is different. There are some tests which we discussed in the previous video as well. The tests are side angle side, angle side, and right angle hypotenuse side. These are some tests of congruence, and they are also called theorems as well. We can use these tests to prove whether two triangles or the given shapes are congruent or not. We have to perform each test. If our triangles are congruent, then our triangle will satisfy any one of these tests, and we should know what these tests means and how to perform these tests. So we will look into this video and we will see how can we apply these tests and tell that whether our triangles are congruent or not. This is basically a worksheet which I have taken from an internet, and we will be discussing this worksheet and we will be going through these four tests and we will see how these tests apply. So we are starting with the first. We are reading with the question. The question is, for each pair of triangles, we have triangles everywhere. You can see that we have a pair of triangles. You can see that there are two triangles in every figure. And we have to prove that we have to just tell that according to which test these two pairs of triangle are congruent. So we don't have to prove them, they are basically congruent. The question is mentioning that these are congruent. We just have to state the postulate or the theorem that can be used to conclude that the triangles are congruent. So we have 9 questions in total, and we will be telling which test according to which test these two triangles are congruent. So we will be looking at the figures one by one, and we will be telling which test is going to be applied on this figure. I will tell you the technique of how can you identify which type of test we will be using to prove that these two triangles are congruent. So we are starting with figure number one. In this figure, we have a big triangle, and inside this big triangle, we have two triangles. This is our first triangle, FGI. This is triangle number one. And the second triangle is HGI. This is second triangle. And we have to prove that these two triangles are congruent. And in order to prove that, we have to use these four tests. This is the first test, which is side, side, and side. Side test, we can recall it. Side test says that if the three sides of a triangle is equal to the corresponding three sides of another triangle, then both of the triangles are congruent. The other test is the side angle side. This angle is the included angle, which we have discussed in the previous classes and videos as well. So this, according to this test, two sides and one included angle is equal to the corresponding two sides and the included angle of another triangle. Then the two triangles are said to be congruent. The third test is angle side. If the two angles and one side of one triangle is equal to the two corresponding angles and one side of another triangle, then the two triangles are said to be congruent. And the last one is the right angle hypotenuse side, in which we have two right angle triangles, and there will be two right angle triangles. Means the right angles will be equal, and the side opposite to the right angle is hypotenuse, and one side should be equal to the other triangle. Then both the triangles will be said to be congruent. So we are using these four tests, and one by one we will be applying them. In question number one, we can say that the figure is telling us something. The figure is telling that this FG side is equals to this HG. So we can say that there is one dash and one dash. This means that these two sides are equal. So we can write it like this: FG is equals to, the figure is telling us that F and G is equals to H and G. So one side is equal to the other corresponding side of the triangle. And then the figure is also telling that this G is a common angle. So this angle G is equal on in both the triangles. So I can write it like this: angle G is equals to angle G, because this is a common angle and this is present in both the figures. So this is equal, as the figure is clearly mentioning. And the third side is this side, which is the common side between the two triangles. This is the common side, and since this is a common side, so this will also be equal. This GI is the common side, so GI will be equals to GI. So these are the things which are equal in both the figures. So now I can conclude that since two sides and one included angle is equal to the two sides and one included angle of the corresponding triangle, so we can say that these two triangles are are congruent, and the postulate is side angle side. So we can say that these two triangles, and then if you want to write the name of the triangle, you can also write it F G I, and this is congruent to triangle F G I. So now moving on to the next figure, question number 2. In question number 2, again we have two triangles, and the figure is telling us that this side is equals to this side, and these two sides are also equal, and we know that this side is a common side which is present in both the triangles. So we can clearly see that the three corresponding sides of this triangle is equal to the three corresponding sides of the other triangle. So we can say that these two triangles are congruent, and the theorem or the test is side side side, because the three sides of this is equal to the three sides of this triangle. So these two triangles are congruent, and the test which is satisfying the test which is telling us that they are congruent is side side and side. Talking about the third figure, in this third figure, if we can see the figure, the question is telling us that angle B is equals to angle E. So there is one equal angle, one pair of equal angles, and these two sides are also equal. And if we can see that these two angles are vertically opposite angles, because the cross is there, and these two angles will always be equal. So we have two pairs of equal angles on one side, so we can say that this is according to angle side, because we have two pairs of angles equal in one side. So these two triangles are congruent, and the test which is telling us that they are congruent is angle side. Question number 4. In question number 4 we have two equal angles. This is triangle number 1 STU, and this is triangle number 2 SRU. S and U are basically common in both the triangles. So we can see that in the figure that these two angles are equal and these two angles are equal. And we can see that this side is the common side between these two angles. So we can clearly see that the two angles and the two angles plus one side. So we can say that these two triangles are congruent. And the test according to which they are congruent is angle side, because two pairs of angles are equal and one side as well. In question number 5, again, we have been provided with the two angles. These two angles are equal and these two angles are equal. And we can say that this side is common between the two. So this side will always be equal. So again, according to angle side, because we have two angles and one side, so we can say that these two are congruent, these two triangles are congruent, and the test which is telling us that they are congruent is angle side. In question number 6, again question number 6, the figure is telling us that these two angles are equal. These are two triangles, and in these two triangles, this angle is equal. So we have one pair of equal angles. This side is also equal to this side, and we can say that this side is a common side, so this will also be equal. So, and these two sides are making this angle, so this is the included angle. So we can say that the test which is telling us that these two triangles are congruent is the side angle side test, because this included angle is equal and the two sides are equal. Question number 7. In question number 7 again we have one pair of equal angles, as we can see clearly in the figure, and one pair of side are also, and since we can see that this is a cross, so this is vertically opposite angles which are always equal. So we can say that two angles and one side, so this is again angle side, because two angles are equal and one side is also equal, so we can say that these two triangles are congruent and the basis is angle side. Question number 8. In question number 8 we have a right angle triangle. This is our right angle triangle, and this right angle triangle is equal and these two angles are also equal, so we have two equal angles and this is a common side again, so we can say that two angles and one side means again we have the same case, angle side, because two angles are equal and one side is also equal. In the last figure we can say that this side and this side is equal as it is mentioned in the figure, and these two sides are also equal, and this is the common side between these two triangles, so this will also be equal. So the three sides of this triangle is equal to the three sides of this, so we can say that these two triangles are congruent, and the basis and the test which is telling us that these two are congruent are side and side. So this was a video on how to apply different types of tests, and it has been clearly mentioned in the figure. We have solved 9 questions, and we can see that in every figure there was some data given which was telling us that there is something which are equal. There are some lengths and angles which are equal in both the triangles, and we just have to look at those equal sides, and we have to use the previous concepts of geometry to tell the type of test which is telling us that these two triangles are congruent.